Hello, beautiful friends. So great to be with you again. So I just recorded a pretty extensive energy clearing. I wouldn't recommend doing that clearing daily. I called it a daily clearing because it should be done when it feels like you need it. I do it about once a week because it's pretty thorough, and it holds for an extended period of time. And you can also do just a tiny invocation of as above, so below, eternal spectrum for the greater good of all, to reinstill it. So anyway, I wanted to do a reading with it as well, or maybe it'll just be a reading. I drew cards in a very specific way that I haven't drawn before, and I believe that this reading is for anyone who's just done some good energy clearing work. I feel like this is in relation to the person watching this video and to the earth. And maybe how you go about moving. It feels like there's going to be some nice confirmations in this video for yourself from your higher self. So I'm really excited. I have only one card flipped out upright while I was doing, so I'm really excited to see what's going on here. Okay. Whew. Whoa. All right. Okay. Wow. Where to begin? So I'm actually going to begin with the card that flipped itself upright to begin. So this is the largest card of them all. It's also the Eight of Hearts. So really feel that there's a new birth kind of happening. There's like a re-expansion of the heart energy. I know for myself, I've been feeling very called to do a lot of heart meditations. I've also felt very not necessarily closed in my heart, but I haven't been able, I felt restricted in these energies. Like I have to be very guarded. So I've been working a lot for myself of shedding these heart energies. This is a nice indication that there's some fresh, bright new energy moving forward. This is like, coming out of the watery depths. I drew this card as a healing card between the inner and the outer world, and it kind of being a bridge. So the inner aspect that's being shown is the Hermit. All right, so here we have from the Forest Enchantment, the Hermit card is here. Now, as you can see, it's somebody who's been doing a lot of deep inner work. I feel like whenever there's like a picture of a flame or whatever kind of going on, it's like it is that nurturing of that like passionate, like and creative emotion. I also get with this card is like there's been some like, this is a badger, which is an aggressive healer. So there's been a lot of aggressive healing going on, and it's kind of like been sitting in those healing energies. He's underground, so this really to me feels like those lower chakras have been getting cleansed and purified and, kind of like almost rerouted so that they can be nurturing to us instead of destructive. These roots create a home, all right? And this is a stable, like happy foundation of a home. And it's a nourishing place to heal, to be with, to study, to enjoy a nice cup of port, or to just journal or write or that sort of thing. So there's a lot of really good energy, and I just want to celebrate the work that you've been doing if this really speaks to you. And I know that I definitely resonate with this card. So, and I was a part of the energy clearing we just did. All right, so the card that came up as the external is the Emperor. And what I really like about these two cards together, and this is the benefit of using different decks, this is from the Light Seers Tarot, is that we really, as this is the external energy, shows that somebody who's done the inner work and has created strong, stable foundation is coming up to surface, all right? So this is like a strong, grounded thing. This is also the coming up for air, and because this feels to be above ground. Like he took this fire that he nurtured, and now it's like this cool chair that he sits on externally. So I really love these energies, the internal and the external. Now again, the middle energy that was supposed to kind of guide and bridge these two is this Ace of Hearts. So what I'm feeling in this, and it's interesting because we've got two masculine feeling energies with then two feminine feeling energies, right? And so it's like they are the pair with their union. This is what I see as like, if we're talking about we often talk about the masculine and the feminine collective. So it's with these energies coming up, what I'm really feeling is that like you know, the work that the feminine component of us has been doing mirrors, like, is what's allowing for this rebirth, whereas, like, the work that the masculine parts of us have been doing is also what allows for the birth. And it's ultimately, like, the inner union that's happening within that's allowing for this to come forward. Now, the cards that came above, I feel like they're more guide cards, and yeah, I'm really curious to see kind of what these bring about. So it's very interesting. All right, so the first thing that comes up, and we got to see what comes through because I'm not even really sure right now, is we have this angel's trumpet, death. All right. We've got some that, which brings through, like, the rebirth energy. We have, like, this angel of death who, like, doesn't really feel that ominous. Like, she feels like an angel of light. She's got a halo, but there's, like, this darkness component. Now, this is on the same side as our Hermit card, right? And so we can see a lot of actually similar, like, parts that have been, you know, some similar colors and things that are being merged in these. And, you know, even there's been a feather that's been put forth here, and there's a feather here. So, you know, you notice these similarities, or I notice these similarities as through lines, because what often they're bringing forward is showing us that, like, for one, what sticks out is, like, the angel. Like, there's been a lot of work kind of, like, moving through, and a lot of it has just been, like, give it over to God, you know. What is the phrase, like, give and let God, or whatever. It's that sort of thing. However, like, the conscious presence with it, and kind of, like, what I've been experiencing is almost like this witnessing of my own story unfolding while simultaneously taking a back seat. Like, not, you know, being a victim to the story. I still have choice and control, but it's like almost I've got to let certain things kind of catch up. So I feel like this angel's trumpet is kind of symbolic of, like, the death of the old world. Oh, and I'm even seeing, as I look at, like, I don't know what planet this is supposed to be or whatever, but it looks like it's like the old, you know, and it's fading away, you know. There's almost like a sticky energy kind of coming from it, and then, like, there's all this healing work kind of around it. Yeah, and I like that the bat is also, like, in a mode of, like, dormancy, like, he's not, like, flying around and fluttering. So it shows me, like, this work is has been happening within, and the time for action hasn't yet appeared. On the other side, what we drew, I'm reading these in a very strange way, with the Emperor over here was the Hummingbird, 44, which is joy, and he's also 4. So we have a lot of the energy of 4 going on here. And what I feel with 4 is a lot of union energy, is a lot of community, is a lot of working together. It's a lot of strong presence of things kind of coming into being. Now, we get a hummingbird in this card. Hummingbird is representative of joy, right? They never kind of stop moving. They're fluttering all about. They're moving. However, yesterday, I sat and watched this one hummingbird. He just sat on next to the feeder for a long time, for maybe 10 minutes. He just sat there, and I was like, whoa, like, it's so cool to just see him in this stillness. So this kind of coming up with the external energies with this emperor is like, yeah, like, there might have been some pieces that are, like, inside that are, like, dying and falling away so that this rebirth of this strong, joyous self can be. It also might be, like, kind of experiencing contrast going on, in the sense of, like, you might be struggling within and, like, going through this, like, but, like, nothing externally is really wrong, and, like, seemingly on the surface, like, things are going great. Like, it's kind of a message I get from both of these cards together, and that actually goes next with the 2 cards that came in the middle. This is from the Mother's Oracle deck. It's a new one I was gifted this year, which feels the Mother's Wisdom deck. So this is a new card we're starting to work with. It was drawn in the reverse, and so it says Star Wonder. Now, I get this card with, next up came from our Shamanic Oracle. We've got the Stripping of Illusions, all right? So what I get with these two cards together and kind of looking across the spread, it is the stripping of illusions is kind of this thing of like good, bad, you know, inside, outside, it doesn't matter, it's all one, right? And it's like this like sense of wonderment and like discernment simultaneously that comes up is like the reaching and connecting to our higher selves. Now I'm going to flip this upright just to look at it. What I feel like this is, again, it's a similar message of the death card in reverse is like, just surrender, give it over to God. Like, we're getting these blessings now. Our wishes are trickling down and coming into being. You know, when you look at this spread too, like, you know, this card kind of, this is how these cards kind of come over this one, you know? So it's almost like the sun is coming down to help this rebirth of the heart going on. Now, the stripping of illusions, there's something about this lotus that like really feels like some of these other cards to me too. Like I can't describe why it feels so connected, but it does. And I think it's because as we do this inner work and, you know, we ride these ebbs and flows and we start to release the judgments and everything that's coming forth with them. And that can be really hard. And again, go back to that daily clearing because there is a part about like clearing the inner critic and working with the inner critic. And inner judge, or however it is that you relabel it, because the more that we can become like a neutral witness to ourselves, to others, even in their own processing right now, feels really vital. Oh, I'm seeing this now too. Okay, so you know, the star is here, and you know, the stripping of illusions is this, you know, it is a lotus flower, you know, which comes up out of the muddy water and then grows up in this light, you know, and that feels very like spot on of what I was saying about these cards kind of working together with this one, right? So it's like as we've done this inner deep work and we've created a stable, healthy foam from clearing, you know, some of these inherited patterns, these things from our traumas, from this lifetime and beyond, like as we've done this clear and we've reestablished what our relationship is with the earth, what our relationship is with ourselves, we've rewired our DNA, you know, we've come forward, we've risen out of the muddy water, so that we can have our dreams come true. Now, it's like these two work together, right? As above, so below, eternal spectrum for the greater good of all. And I feel like, you know, death and joy, like these even in the contrast of each other, feel really thing. You know, the Hermit, which is number 9 to number 4, you know, like these guys coming up together, it's like as above, so below. I'm really feeling that energy. And even our central card here, it's there. The women are still working behind the scenes, right? Like the feminine energy is still working behind the scenes to do this lifting. Also, is it heavy lifting if you've got the help of the elementals, the water spirits, the water itself? Like you've got all of the elements represented. You've got fire, you've got air, you've got water, and you've got the earth, like that's like holding it all. So it's really, this container is rising so powerfully and strongly. Wow. That all feels really good. I hope it brought you some clarity. I feel like some clarity moving through with it. I'm thinking if we need any other information. And I don't think we do. I'm feeling pretty good about all of this. Really, like, if you're going to meditate with a card or be with it, I think out of all the cards that pop forward here, is to really sit with this Ace of Cups energy. If you can, just spend some time with your hands on your heart, or even with your hands in front of your heart in prayer position, and really just imagine, you know, whether you see the heart energy as like the... you know, as a soft pink or a bright green, or maybe you're doing both like higher heart, and however it moves through to you, like connect to that energy. And then if there's people who come to mind simultaneously, you can ask with the assistance of your higher self to send them some of this heart yummies. I think also, and if it feels too much to send to people because people are people, send it to the earth, send it to the trees, to the flowers, to the animals that fill your life. I'm really feeling big levels of supporting each other as like our hearts awaken, and I'm feeling that something in this next month is really going to bring about just like heart clarity is kind of the word that I'm feeling, and I feel like it comes from this expansion and this clarity of our heart chakra, but it's because of the work that we've done in clearing our haras, our wombs, and our heads, and connecting with the earth and spirit, as above, so below, eternal spectrum for the greater good of all. So I hope that this reading was in resonance for you. I am feeling called to do sessions with people. I'm just going to label these sessions as clue readings. So if you'd like to work with me and we can see what your soul wants to bring through, please just shoot me an email, prismhealers@gmail.com, and we'll find a time to connect. And it'll be really great to do some work with you. I'm wishing you all many blessings, and aho!